Hi there, how you doing? Thank you for tuning in. In this series of lessons, I'm going to show you how I play my solo arrangement of Ain't No Sunshine by Bill Withers. And it's one of my favorite tunes. It's actually not a difficult arrangement, and it's something that your audience will really love. It is based on some pretty basic chord shapes. Okay, so let me just tell you, I'm in standard tuning. Okay, with a pretty much in tune guitar. We're in the key of A minor. Okay, that's what I play the song in. And basically, I think of this song as an 8-bar blues because it feels like 12-bar blues, but when you count the bars, it's only 8. So there is such an animal called an 8-bar blues, and I believe this is one of them. And another thing that I want to impress upon you as you learn this is when you see me play it, it's very difficult for me to play this one the same way twice. It's not one of these set arrangements where there's so many complicated things that I've got to do it consistently the same. This arrangement offers me some breathing space to play a little bit more like an improviser. Bend some strings, use the color of open notes on the guitar, open strings, excuse me. And I even have a section in the middle where I improvise a little bit, which is something that I don't usually do when I play fingerstyle. Even though I did play jazz guitar and improvised quite a lot, I don't normally include that in the arrangements. So I'm going to say this throughout the lessons. Please listen to the original Bill Withers version of Ain't No Sunshine. It's awesome. You'll see where I got a lot of the ideas from, and that way you can use my arrangement to play your version of Bill Withers' song rather than simply do a carbon copy of my arrangement. There's a lot of room for improvising. There's a lot of room for your personal expression, and the way it feels comfortable for you there's a lot of room for you to play it the way it feels comfortable for you. That's what I was trying to say. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so for the intro of Ain't No Sunshine, I state the melody. I play the melody using some very high harmonics, and I play the time very freely. So let me show you which harmonics I play. I use a combination of open strings and harmonics. I go open E, 12th fret on the G string, then 7th fret on the 4th string, D string, then fret. So you see what I did there? Then I hold that and I roll into this nice sounding A minor 9 chord, you could call it. I'm playing these two, leaving the B open and keeping that. So then that's a nice kind of E minor 9 sounding chord. To an A minor chord. Sometimes I play this kind of chord. It's the same thing for the E minor, but I grab a low B. And believe it or not, this is going to sound totally lame. It's easier to do when I'm standing up because the strap is hanging a little different. It's a little trickier to do sitting down. That's more comfortable. So this phrase happens twice. Well, I'll play you the whole thing. And I encourage you to be bluesy, to do variations. It's just A minor to E minor back to A minor. You can start with what I do, but then, there's room for There's room for experimentation. The other thing you might want to do is have your thumb on the D string. That makes the accuracy with the right hand plucking here. See, I started that whole thing with my thumb there, and it makes that a lot easier. See, for example, you might go... just kind of improvising something on A minor. You could even do... So it's very open, and as a guitarist, you should do what's comfortable for you there. Then, next phrase. Except the important thing is that you want to stop on your pinky there. So. And then what I like to do here. See what I just did there? It looks like a little triad, but I do it with an open D string. Then you can play a G chord there, that's just extra. Then I like to end kind of on this dreamy sus chord. Okay, let me play you the whole thing. Totally freaky. Regarding this top lick where I'm doing kind of the bluesy thing, please refer to the original recording so that you know what it should be. You know what Bill Withers is singing, because he's going. So you have to know the melody cold. Then you can play around with these variations. But basically that's what I'm doing for the intro. Okay, let's go to the next part of the lesson, which is the groove. Okay, so the groove for Ain't No Sunshine is sort of a, well, let me show you what the groove is. It's super funky, and the guitar part is a little bit almost like a reggae guitar part. So you're going to be on the upbeats. So first, let's just work on the groove. You're going to play an A minor chord, and then we're going to do an E minor 7 chord. Watch, just all open strings. You don't need any left hand, just, see that? Okay, so now I'm going to play my fingers on the upbeats, like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2. Just going to practice that. And I'm going to put a thumb on the downbeat. Pretty simple. Hey, I know. 1, 2, ready, and. Why don't you try playing along with me as I do this? Let's do that again. And I'm trying to leave percussion stuff out. I just want 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And so here we go. Let's do it together. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Good. So now, as you know, I'm the guy who does these click things when I land, which is the string hitting the fret. It's not a thumb pick. See, I don't even have a thumb pick on, but my action's nice and low, so I can get that. Let's try to get that on 2 and 4. So 1 and 2 and 3. It shouldn't be too loud, but it shouldn't be too quiet either. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Then let's just add, all we got to do now is add one bass note. We're going to go where we're doing the click after we were doing a click after the E. We're going to try to do a G there, but see if you can possibly, like a slap bass, play and click it at the same time. So here we go. Watch this. See what I'm doing on the G? I'm getting a little bit of percussion. So now, setting up this groove properly after you get out of the intro is what's going to make your audience, well, it's going to make them real happy. So, for example, coming out of the intro that I showed you, two, three, okay, and so that's the basic groove. And what's nice is if you're ever on a gig where you're accompanying somebody, you can just do that as the backup for the chords. Okay, so let's go on to let's talk about the form of the tune in the next lesson. Okay. Okay, so let's just talk for a sec about the form of the song, the shell of just one time through the song, not the entire arrangement. I like to call this an 8-bar blues because it feels so much like a 12-bar blues, but if you count it, it's only 8 bars. It's going to be, just so you have this running in the back of your mind, because this is going to be really important in an upcoming lesson. So if you were backing somebody up, you would just play the chords. Let's just play the chords through the song before we get to the melody. It's going to be this A minor thing with the bass line 4 times. Okay? Then it's going to be 1 bar of E minor. You're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 bar of D minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then back to A minor. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I know I didn't do the first part. I'll play you the whole thing now. Okay? So you're going to do the A minor 4 times. Do it with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now E minor's coming. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2, 3, and bang. And then that's going to be where I just said bang would be the top of the tune. Let me count it through so you see that it's 8 bars, okay? The whole song. Ready? And 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. 3, 2, 3, 4. 4, 2, 3, 4. 5, 2, 3, 4. 6, 2, 3, 4. 7, 2, 3, 4. 8, 2, 3, and top. Okay, so it's like a blues. That 8 bars keeps rolling. That's going to be very important as the arrangement gets more complex, that you have a basic feeling in your gut about when that 8 bars is up. Okay, let's go on to the next lesson where we start playing the melody. Alrighty, so here's the first actual statement of the melody of the arrangement that it's supposed to sound like the vocals and the groove are all happening at once. Now, as in most of my arrangements, there's going to be a top, a middle, and a bottom. And the top is the melody. The bottom is the bass, and the middle is the accompaniment, but what you're going to see is the melody might get down into the range of the middle of the chords. So still think of that as the melody, and we still think of that as the top because that's the thing that's got to stand out the most. The accompaniment might come in a higher register. So now I kind of gave some of it away. Check this out. It all fits right on an A minor chord. If you go, and I urge you, please listen to the original. Don't play Adam Rafferty's arrangement. Let Adam Rafferty's arrangement be a guide for you so that you can play Bill Withers' song. That's the most important thing to remember. So definitely listen to the original. Okay. So here's how I'm going to play the melody. And I'm landing definitely on my third finger. I'm using the chords of the fingers of the A minor chord so that when I play that last note, I have all the surrounding notes of the A minor chord. Okay. So allow me to show you the melody. I'm going to play the melody, then I'm going to go play a little bit of the groove as I let that last note sustain, okay? We're doing the groove like I showed you. Now, there's a couple important things here. See where my thumb just came? My thumb came right on beat 1. The melody is syncopated. So you're playing that A and beat number 1 in a funny place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. You can see with my leg over here if you're watching. Now watch what I do. While that note is ringing, I'll use my third and second finger, my A and M finger here, for sort of that accompaniment on the upbeats. I might even brush that with just a single finger. So I play that more quietly, and we have the sound of the jing, dong, jing, dong, jing, dong. That accompaniment that we've been accustomed to hearing on the upbeats. So it's actually above the melody. Okay? You shouldn't play it too loud. If it's then you've lost the melody. So it should be hiding behind the melody volume-wise. Sorry, I kind of improvised some melody and bass stuff there. Let me do it a little bit more accurately for you. That's demo style for a guitar video. That's not completely how I would play it live. There's a lot of variation and changing things up when you have something that's based around a chord shape. Okay, now the next thing I'd like to show you is how to incorporate the bass line when you're playing so that it's not as if the bass player falls out. It sounds a little bit square. It's real easy. Watch this. You just have to, when you get to the A here, you can play it like this or like this. Play a low E, and then there's a number of ways you can finger that, but it's the boom, 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 ba, da, da, da. That's the bass line. If you just put the notes Okay, so let me play you how I would typically play that. Okay. Okay, now the next part, you do that phrase twice, then the next part. This is the melody. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. The first simple thing you can do, put an E in the bass, then a D, does that sound in tune? Sort of in tune. That's the first way that you can put a bass under that little part of the melody. What I like to do is I do what's called thirds. That's an interval of a third. But you got to make sure the melody rings. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play the first chorus of the song as if I'm really playing and not giving a guitar lesson. Okay, so this may have some variations from what I showed you, but you'll get the idea. Okay, so you see, you're going to use these pieces and put them together in your own way. For the next time he sings it, I do a variation, and that's in the next video. So let's go on to that one. Okay, so basically in the song, Bill Withers sings new lyrics the second time around, like the way a blues has different lyrics for the second verse. Obviously, if we're playing fingerstyle guitar, we don't have lyrics, but I wanted to give the feeling of the song developing and going somewhere the same way lyrics would. So what I thought would be cool for the arrangement, since we played the melody down there, is to play the melody in that register, but with the groove. And then you'll notice it's pretty stark if we just go. So I envisioned some intervals called sixths. Now, what I'd like to show you is not the arrangement at this time. I'm going to show it to you in about a minute. But I want to show you the development of the idea so that you're not just learning my fingerings, but so that you actually understand the idea. You've probably encountered intervals in bluesy stuff when you've played. You've probably done stuff like that. So that's an interval called a sixth because it's just called a sixth. Don't worry, sixth, like 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth, fifth, sixth. Anyhow, this is the sound I imagined originally. See that? But I don't play it like that. Okay? That's the intervallic design of what I wanted. But one, there's a trick. This is a Chet Atkins and Tommy Emmanuel trick. For example, if you were doing and you want it to go to these two notes, there's a problem. You got to let go of these. I got to go, oops, let go, and then there's a little bit of silence there, and there. We can make that transition smoother by a different fingering. Watch this. If I bar here, because this note is ringing over. It's more legato, it's smoother. So I've come up with a set of fingerings that use that kind of logic. So let me show you what I do. And the other thing that I want to point out first is that I don't often play it straight where I go, where both notes are getting plucked together. I'll stagger the notes. But I'm going to show you my own special voodoo that I've done here. So now here's what I actually play. First of all, I start with A and E. I prefer that as opposed to the G and the E. So, okay. Ain't no. See what I'm doing? Second finger and then my fourth finger. Then I go up to the examples that I showed you. Okay. Third and fourth finger. And then you'll see when I actually play it in real life, I switch at some point to these two fingers so that I can, over here, so that I can grab the bass. Okay. So let me play a phrase of this the way I would actually play it. Just did. And when I pluck this, watch what I'm doing. I'm playing, and I'm actually going ring finger, middle finger, first finger, and then thumb. So I'm plucking 4 fingers on the right hand. And then when it goes to the E, this is something new that I just came up with. I change the second and third finger. I literally just came up with that this morning. So I'm still developing that. And the reason I do that is because it helps me get the bass line. Okay, so as always, that phrase happens twice. So here's what it sounds like twice. Now we're on the different phrase. Actually, you don't slide there. Let me show you. Then, that's a little tricky. Ain't no sun when you're gone. 12th fret. I'm actually hammering on the 3rd and 4th finger. And then I go and grab a low E. Then I switch to the top 2 strings, 1st and 4th finger. Okay, slide with the 4th finger, switch to the 3rd finger, open D string. Okay, see I got a little triad here. Just follow me, you'll get it. I know I'm throwing a lot of stuff at you. And then that's brand new. Brand new. Okay, so let me play that for you the way I would do it, really playing. And there's a couple things that might vary. For example, sometimes I leave an open B string there. Don't let any little variations freak you out, because I never play this the same way twice. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, so that's the basic idea. These fingerings change all the time, but that is sort of the concept, that you want to get that melody up there in those sixth intervals so that you can play it an octave higher. Okay, let's go on to the next video. All right, well, as you can see, I've taken the camera off my hands for this section of Ain't No Sunshine. This is a famous part of the song where Bill Withers sings a polyrhythm. He sings the words I know, and he's singing groups of 3 against the beat, against a 4/4 beat. So it's kind of like this part, you've probably heard it. The instruments fall out, and it's just him and the drummer going, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. You probably heard that. And there's a lot of misunderstanding about this part of the song. Very often when I hear not just guitarists, but singers, groups, people, whomever, dogs, cats, when I hear them perform this, they kind of mess it up. And I'm not 100% sure if I'm right. Please take everything I say and check it. But I've checked this out a number of times, and here's what my musical radar picked up. But please judge for yourself. Because like I said, I'm not right 100% of the time. In the lesson that I showed you about the form, about this thing happening 4 times, okay, you need to imagine that that's going on in the band's mind, and they probably at a rehearsal said, hey, this would sound cool if the band doesn't play. But the whole section where he's singing this stuff over the bar line is exactly a chorus or one time through of the song. Okay? And the important thing is that you start singing the I knows, I know, his thing in the right place. Okay, so the reason I zoomed out is because I'm going to hold up 4 fingers and I'm going to count 4 times through. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, okay? And we're going to sing the I knows against that, because you got to get the musical picture before you can do it on the guitar. Now, I'll show you where he's starting. He's going... 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Ba bum, ba bum, ba bum. So it's the very at the end of the chorus proceeding 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 boom. So he's starting it on beat number 2. Now I'm going to count and sing. We're just going to check out what I'm doing. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me back it up a little bit for you. Ba 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 dum ba da 1 ba dum ga dum ga dum ga gun ga 2 ba dum ga dum ga gun ga dum ga 3 ba dum ga gun ga dum ga dum ga dum ga 4 ba bum ba 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 da ba ba. Okay, I got a little carried away there with my bend, but you see the amount of time it took. So one more time, coming from the last chorus. ba bum bo dun do dun go dun one bo dun go dun go dun do gun go two bo dun go dun do gun go dun go three bo dun do gun go dun go dun go dun go ba bum bo bam bo bam bo dun bang. Okay, so now, like I said, I think a lot of groups that perform this, they just try to count the number of I know, and then the singer doesn't know where she is, and then everybody just slams down on the E minor chord. So it is for a certain number of bars, and if you just sing it to yourself, you'll start to feel it, maybe away from the guitar. So now let's look at how I do this on the guitar. It's not, this is still under construction after about 7 years of playing this song. I'd like to come up with something a little bit better, but it's cool. It's cool. It works. It works. What I do is I hammer on. I'm just hammering those. Okay? Now, what I'm about to do with my right hand might be a little bit tricky for you. And if you see my eyes going, I'm going to this other camera to make sure that my hand is, the guitar is in the camera. I'm doing like a 16th note pattern. I'm going 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a... Now that might take you a little bit of practice if you want to do that. Maybe you could do something simpler, just some percussion. So I'm combining the hammer-ons with the percussion. Let's see if I can do it without totally screwing it up, okay? So I'm going to play now this thing the way I sang it to you, but here's what I do in the solo guitar arrangement, okay? So that's one thing you could do. I would suggest if you're not sure of what to do, the first thing you can experiment with is these sort of slaps on the backbeat. You could see if you can juggle the polyrhythm and doing this at the same time. You know, just like. That kind of suggested it with just using my thumb. So you don't need, if you're not into guitar percussion, that's okay. But make some entertainment out of that. You could even get the people to sing it. You know, that's another thing a nut like me might do. I might go, coming out of the chorus. And so on and so forth. Of course, I might also do beatbox, but you might not want to do beatbox. So that's what's going on that chorus. Now, I got to fly here. What I would suggest, please go listen to the original and check that what I'm saying is correct. And I'm going to double check it too, and if I'm wrong, I'll put up another video explaining where I screwed up, but I'm 99% sure that that's what's going on. It's a fixed thing, and if you do that part of the song, your audience who knows the song will really appreciate it. So, okay, so let's go on to the improvised section that I do in the arrangement following this. Okay, so after that sort of percussion chorus, which is very entertaining for the audience and important for the people who know the original song, this is the part of the song that I use to improvise a little bit, which is not something I do much when I play fingerstyle guitar. And let me show you what I do and how I set up a groove and do, well, let me show you what I do. First thing I do is I'll usually open up the solo with the first phrase of a Chet Atkins song called Windy and Warm, as kind of a tribute to Chet Atkins and Tommy Emmanuel, to sort of tip the hat to the country-ish guitar players, even though I'm more of a funk dude, to sort of let that world of guys know that I haven't forgotten about them. So the melody, I'm going to play it for you. I'm going to play you the basic feel for the melody. I've never really learned the Chet version. It's a finger-picking song, and then I'll show you how I apply it to Ain't No Sunshine. It's... Okay, now with thumb picking. The basic sound. I have never really officially learned that, so you might even know it better than I do. But let me show you how I put that together with Ain't No Sunshine as kind of a cool musical quote. Imagine the doom, imagine this. Now let's just do the melody. Watch, I'm kind of doing. So that's the basic. You got to get this feel. I don't know what to tell you. I know I should show you slowly, but it's just whatever. I can't talk and play at the same time, but what I'm doing is on beats 2 and 4, I'm hitting with the back of a finger. For example, on that D, okay, that's to keep my right hand flowing in the right groove. Hard to explain. It's like riding a bike. You just gotta, once you get it, you get it. So keep working on it. But then what I'll do in the bass, I'll go boom, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now when I combine the two, I get this. So that's the one variation I got. I do that twice. I do that phrase twice. Then I have a little lick that I do over the E minor, and then I have a little lick that I do over the D minor to propel me into then a truly improvised solo. Let me show you just the fingerings, what I do first. I've got my thumb in middle here, and I'm going. I'll show it to you in time. And then on the D minor, I'm playing these two notes, and watch what I do. Then I move it up to the 7th fret. You really have to get your pull-offs with your first finger accurate. And then I'll do a bend. Some kind of bluesy rock thing. And then bang, I'm in the solo. So let me show you up to tempo. Now these sound very flashy, like an Eddie Van Halen thing, but once you get the coordination, it's not that hard. And if you can't do what I do, you can make maybe a slower, mellower variation. Just keep the groove. But I'll show you here what I do. So here we go. I'll play you the whole chorus where I do the windy and warm thing. And I'm not even sure if it's too many bars of A minor, but I don't really care. I just kind of, since I'm solo and I don't have to worry about a rhythm section following me, I just kind of play as many measures as I want. So here we go. A 1, 2, 3, and... And at this point, I'm in the solo after I do this bend, okay? And then what I do here is I'm using the memory of playing with Dr. Lonnie Smith as kind of an inspiration. I just want to have I might change this up. It's just open. I just solo on A minor to E minor. And the thing you might want to think about is just doing things that sustain long notes over that if you want to try to improvise. So you'll see me do things like 1. I'm just, I'll do little chord things and I'll do. I can't really show you what I do. You got to find some bluesy things. And this is not a blues improvisation. Of course, you don't have to do an improvised solo. But the idea is to ground it with your thumb. And this is something that I'm looking forward to getting more into, being able to improvise with playing fingerstyle. And then when I come out, I do this. Just like I was ending a chorus. So what you want to see is I just extend that A minor to E minor solo section, if I'm in the mood to solo. And then I'll do blam. Okay, so let's go on to the last chorus and the ending. I've been throwing a term around. I just did it at the end of the last video. I said, let's go on to the next chorus. And that's a sort of jazz musician's term. Every repeat through a song is sometimes referred to as a chorus. And that's because a lot of the old jazz standards, when we think of a jazz standard, there's actually a verse that is often not played, and jazz groups, such as Miles Davis, John Coltrane, Dizzy Gillespie, they would just play what's the chorus to the song. So that's kind of an overhang from jazz. So every time we go through 8 bars, I've been calling that a chorus. So for the last chorus, after the solo, we're going to play the melody of the song again. Only this time, I'm going to do a combination of the low melody played in this lower register, and we're going to combine it with the following phrase, switching. Okay. So that way we're only using material that we've previously used, but we're mixing it up in a new way to add a third variation. The important thing is that we end on the high one. I repeat the last, you'll see I repeat the last, anytime she goes away. I repeat, anytime she goes away. I repeat that a couple of times. Sorry, I got a little mixed up with my words there. Let me just perform it for you at sort of in sort of a demo format, okay? So, last chorus. We're doing it low. Then we did it high once. Then low. Then high. I'll do a bend there. Now high for the last one. And now watch what I do. I hold those two, and I'll grab over here to a D and here to an F. I'm playing kind of a D minor. It's like a D minor 7 chord with an open B string snuck in there. Roll on that, and I'll slide the D up to a harmonic. Watch what I did. I slid, and then I play the 12th. Oops, I play the 12th fret harmonic, and then I'll grab this chord. This is kind of a stretchy chord. I'm playing 5th fret, and then I'm grabbing back to an E. If your hand is too small for this, you can grab this, or you can just leave the D string out. I do it like that, but I got big hands, okay? You can just do this. And now watch what I do. I roll this and I slide it. And I'm ending an octave higher. So this is the 7th, my pinky is on the 17th fret, open B, 17th fret, and then 14th fret. Okay, so that's my ending. The other thing that I want to mention is I haven't really been consistent. Sometimes I do. I take an improviser approach when I play this. I don't always do it the same. So don't let that freak you out as the student who's looking to the teacher to do it the same way every time. Okay, here we go. Last chorus. High. Make sure that that A, that high note, is ringing out loudest so that there's a feeling of finality. There you have it. That's Ain't No Sunshine. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I look forward to getting your version of it and seeing what you do with it. Hi. There's something that I recently came up with as a variation to the fingering of this first verse that once you learn it the way that I've shown you, you can add this as a possible another source of color. Okay? So check this out. Instead of going, I'll play the E and the A as 12th fret harmonics. So that is just a slightly different color sound-wise than... Okay, that's what I showed you. But now check it. See that? That's just another thing you can play around with. And you could even play with it in the very, very intro, let's say. You could go... You know, it's just another approach to playing the melody to Ain't No Sunshine, so that you can put another shading or another sound out there and keep things interesting. So I just wanted to add that as sort of a little bonus thing for you, so that I wouldn't accidentally leave that out. So, all right, everybody, let's keep going.